Yogah Karmasu Kaushalam.
A very good morning to one and all. Myself, Dr. Mehal Pandya. I'm working as an associate professor at BK School of Professional and Management Studies, Gujarat University. I'm very thankful to Professor Dr. Jagdish Joshi, Director of HRDC, for giving me this opportunity to present a session in front of you. Today's topic of discussion is Engaging Minds, Innovative Pedagogy for Generation Z Learners. My dear friends, I'm going to talk about who are Generation Z, what kind of challenges they are facing, and being a professor, which type of a pedagogy we should use for Generation Z so that they can develop their interest in a particular subject. My dear friends, we both sail in a same boat because we come from a same fraternity. We are facing same kind of a challenges, and the challenges are due to the rise in technology, easy access of the internet, and because of this n number of information are available on one click. Students are also having the information on one click because this generation spend their maximum amount of time on screen. So whenever we are delivering our session, they are keep on judging us whether we are providing them a knowledge which is not available on internet, whether we are bringing something new in the class that interests the students. They keep on judging us continuously, and on the basis of that, they develop a philosophy for a teacher, and they develop a criteria that this is a good teacher, this is a bad teacher. What is our role being a professor is to satisfy all the students in the class, and if all the students in the class, if they are satisfied, our task is done, and this is our ultimate goal. My dear friends, at present what we are doing, that we will understand. Basically, my dear friends, we are so much bogged down with the time, and there is a hefty syllabus that we have to complete in a very small duration of a time. So, our motto is that we need to complete the syllabus. We don't see here and there, and our focus is on the syllabus. And our motto is to complete the syllabus because we are also having a pressure from our higher authorities that at the end of the semester whether you have complete your syllabus or not. Even student will raise their voice if we won't complete the syllabus. So we keep on continuously, we keep on delivering the session, and we try to complete the syllabus in time. And basically we adopt a traditional teaching method. So in traditional teaching method, a knowledge is transferred from a professor to the students. But my dear friends, a very limited emphasis is is given or is put on the interactive learning and the collaborative learning. A very little emphasis is being put. Basically, my dear friends, as we are teaching the management students, our and this management students, they are going to become a future managers. So basically our duty is to groom the students in every aspect, and it is our duty to develop their holistic personality rather than doing the rectification. In a layman language we say it is our duty. So for that we have to come up with a new pedagogy in the class, and if we come up with a new pedagogy in the class, then the interest of students will also develop for a particular subject, and they will like to come in the class, they will like to attend the class, and maximum strength will be there if you come up with a new innovative pedagogy which interests the students. My dear friends, like to say that guess this image. Yes, everyone can say that this our generation Z, and this generation, they are born between 90s to 2010. My dear friends, this generation's Z, they are facing sorry various kinds of a problems. They are facing various kinds of a challenges, and they are always there into the question mark. So basically we'll be talking about what kind of a problems they are facing. So first problem I'll be talking about digital dependency. My dear friends, this is the first generation to grow up with the widespread access to the technology and widespread access to the internet. Yes, you will say that why it is a challenge, why it is a problem. It's a benefit that student can have an access to the information. They can able to connect easily with the help of internet. But my dear friends, students are making misuse of it. They spend maximum amount of a time on a screen, and they are reliant, or they rely on the digital device, and as they are spending most of the time on the screen and they are relying themselves on the digital device, there arises many issues. They the issues, if I am talking about, there is a decrease span of attention. They can't be remain attentive for a long duration of a time, and they are online addicted. Second issue to talk about, there is no face to face conversation because they spend most of the time on the screen and chatting with their friends, but that is on screen, on the virtual mode, and not in a physical mode. So they also lack social skills. Coming to the next thing is, they are very much information overloaded. So much information are available, so they can get the information from social media. Various platforms are available from where they can get the information. So much online content are available that they can get the information, so they are bombarded with the vast amount of information. So much information is there, so it is challenging task for them to filter this information, to evaluate the information, that whether this is correct information or this is incorrect information. So they have to distinguish between the right and wrong. And as so much information are available, it also leads to the confusions, and it's very difficult for them to think critically. So my dear friends, they are overloaded with the information. Second thing to talk about is mental health concern. This generation are facing high rate of anxiety, depression is there, stress is there as compared to previous generations. Why? Because they are having or they are facing academic pressure. This generation try to compare themselves in with the social media. Means social media comparison is there, cyberbullying is there, and they are very much uncertain about their future. So that leads to mental health concern for the generation Z. Talking about the next thing is economic uncertainty. Why economic uncertainty? Because this generation Z, they are entering into a rapid changing and uncertain job market. They often face challenges like finding a stable employment, or challenges like adaptive to the dynamic workplace. Economic instability is there, and that create a stress, and that hinders their transition into adulthood. Another thing to talk about is about the financial literacy. So, when I talk about this financial literacy, they don't know how to do budgeting. They don't know how to uh, uh, save their own money. And as they are not financially literate, they are facing a problem. Next thing to talk about is the global issues. They are very well aware with the global issues like climate change, social justice, and political unrest. My dear friends, this generation Z, they are very much passionate to bring differences in that by addressing all these challenges. But it leads to frustrations and a sense of responsibility for the problems they are beyond that control. Another thing to talk about is work life balance. When I talk about work life balance, this generation are facing challenges in achieving this balance due to their competitive job market, demanding work expectation, and there is a blurred boundaries between the work and personal life in digital age. So my dear friends, this generation are facing n number of problems, and it is our duty as a professor that how we can able to resolve their problems, how can we help them in their problems. So it is our duty. And when we are a professor, it is our duty to see the student that whether his well-being is good or not. So we try our level best to support the students. And when I'm talking about the supporting the students, the first thing I'll talk about is how you should deliver your sessions. So, how to teach Generation Z? Which type of a pedagogy one should use to teach Generation Z? I'll be talking about the various pedagogies. First, I'll be talking about the value education. My dear friends, we know what are the values: the responsibilities, respect, sincerity, tolerance, honesty. These all are the value education. These all are examples of a values. My dear friends, huge emphasis is put on the value education in National Education Policy 2020. When I talk about the value education, it goes beyond the academic knowledge and it focuses on the holistic development of the students. We see that whether a student is socially responsible or not. We see that whether the individual is compassionate in the society. My dear friends, ask yourself that whenever we are delivering a session, are we focusing on the value education? Are we teaching our topic from the subject, relating it with the social value education? Are we sparing weekly 1 hour to provide a value education to the students? If not, now it is a high time. We have to start talking about the value education in front of the students. My dear friends, to teach value education, there are various pedagogies, but I'll be teaching about one or two pedagogy in this session, and most of us may be doing it, most of us may not be doing it. That does not matter. But once we come to know that which type of a pedagogy we should use, we should try to incorporate in our session. So, first of all, our first pedagogy I'll be talking about is you have to incorporate real life examples. If you give a real life examples and ask the students to discuss about the ethical dilemmas, what are the ethical dilemmas? Ask the students to talk about what are the social issues. You can ask about value based decision making. I give in the class this example Tata Nano on ethical dilemmas, and I ask my students to discuss on this. There are n number of topics market. So any topic that is real that can be given in the class. And once you give the topic or real life example in the class, ask the students to proceed a discussion on that. And this real life example is will help the students to develop the critical thinking, to analyze the ethical implications on different scenarios. So, by giving these real life examples, students will develop a critical thinking. They will know what are the ethical implications on different scenario. Next thing to talk about is service learning project. My dear student, my dear friends, we have to engage our students or we have to encourage our students to participate in service learning project where they go in the community and they provide a service and they learn from that particular thing. And this type of a project that will allow the students to apply their knowledge and skills in addressing real world problems. So, if you engage your students in community services, that will foster empathy, social responsible, and the sense of purpose will also develop. When I talk about the service learning project, my dear friends, you can ask your students to go there and do the internship for week, 15 days, depends. You can ask your students to go volunteer over there and work over there. And with this service learning thing, the civic education, the students will also gain the civic education. Students will gain the practical experience. Students will involve themselves in the community. They will come to know what type of problems the communities are facing. And as they are studying, they can apply their theoretical knowledge in the practical things, so they can have a hands-on experience. So my dear students, you can ask the students to go in the community to learn the things. I always ask my students to go in some slum areas and see what are the functionaries over there. I ask my students to go in the chawl and see what are the problems they are facing. And when they come up with the observations or the study, I ask them to prepare a presentation and to present in front of the class. So if there are 60 students, if 60 students goes in a community, and after coming from the community, if they present in the class, so each student will have a knowledge of 60 communities. Each student will have the knowledge of that, of the 60 communities, which type of a problems they are facing and how we can able to resolve the problem. Sometimes I ask my students to write a case. Suppose they have visited one particular community, so I'll ask them to write small case, and on the basis of their case, we discuss it in the class. So students also enjoy this practical thing. Another thing to talk about is the moral and ethical debates. My dear friends, when I talk about the moral and the ethical debates, you should ask your students to debate on some topics which are moral and ethical. You can give CSR topic in the class. You can say that corporate prioritize profit maximization, or also consider the social and environment responsibility debate. You can come up with this whistleblowing. Is it ethical for the employee to expose wrongdoing within their organization, even if it may harm the company's reputation or financial well being? So, CSR is such kind of a topic, right? We are talking in an entrepreneur's subject. We are talking this in the law also. We are talking this about the CSR in the principles of management or organizational structure and the dynamics. So, this type of a topic can be generated, and you can ask the students to have a debate on this. Marketing ethics, right? If you're a professor of marketing ethics, that can be come in come you can bring in front of the students. Ethical leadership, right? Key attributes and ethical behavior of a leader and its impact on organization. You can talk about workplace diversity. It's a HR topic, diversity in hiring, even if it means implementing affirmative action plans. Yes, you can always talk about environmental sustainability. So, a debate can be organized or arranged in the class that can be on the moral and ethical decisions. So these are the few examples which I just given in this session, but you can come up with your own examples or a topic for the discussion in the class. Another thing to talk about, you should be a role model for for your students whenever you are demonstrating your behavior, and behavior into inverted commas, ethical behavior, that is interaction with the students, decision making, how you make your decisions, and of course the classroom management. So if you become a role model for your students, then students will learn from you, and students will also enjoy uh, if you come up with the activities that they like. So next thing, next pedagogy to talk about is an ice breaking activities. So my dear friends, whenever you start your class, you should start with the ice breaking activities. Why ice breaking activities? Because it will help you to create a positive and engaging classroom environment. Here, I am going to discuss few ice breaking activities with you. Few ice breaking activities are two truths and a lie. Along with these ice breaking activities, I am also going to discuss that how this activity will help the students. What will be the learning from these activities for the students? So first I'll be talking about two truths and a lie. So each student from a class, or she should share two truths in front of the class and one false statement about themselves in front of the class. And the rest of the student, they try to guess which statement is lie. With the help of this activity, students will come to know about each other, and this activity will encourage active listening, and engagement will also be there. Next thing to talk about is speed networking. In networking, you have to divide the students in a pair or in a small group. Once you divide the student in a pair or in a small group, you have to set a timer, say for example for 3 minutes, and then engage the students for rapid fire conversation, like introducing themselves, sharing their interest, exchanging the contact informations. So after setting the timer, you have to engage in a rapid fire conversations where they share their own information, and once the time is up, you have to reshuffle the groups and you have to repeat the process. This type of an activity helps the students to develop networking skills. This type of an activity helps students to build a connections with other students. Next thing to talk about is group jigsaw puzzle. In group jigsaw puzzle, what we have to do is we have to divide the group class in a small group, and you have to give each group a jigsaw puzzle. What the catch is that each group is having few missing pieces, and they must collaborate with other group to complete this puzzle. This type of an activity that leads to teamwork, collaboration, and a problem solving skills. Next thing to talk about is if you could question. What you have to do here is you have to pose some hypothetical questions to the students, such that if you could have dinner with any business leader, who would it be and why? Another example, if you could start your own business from tomorrow, what would it be? Each students take turn answering the questions. It will allow the students to share their personal insights. It will allow the students to think creatively. Another thing to talk about is personal branding collage. What you have to do is you have to provide a magazine, a glue, scissors, and large that postcard or something hardbound paper to the students, and you have to ask the students to create the collage that represent their personal brand, including their values, including their strength, including their interest, including their aspiration. And after completing the collage, students present them in front of the group, explaining the choice they have made. And with this activity, students can do the self reflections, they can learn self expressions, and they can have the awareness of a personal branding. Next thing to talk about is business trivia challenge. Divide the class into a team and prepare a list of business trivia questions. Students, they take a turn answering the questions, and the team with the highest scores win. This type of an activities, it will encourage friendly competitions, it will enhance the knowledge, it will enhance the knowledge of the various business concepts, and it will also stimulate critical thinking. Next thing to talk about in the ice breaking activity is personal sorry business buzzword bingo. So what is this buzzword bingo? You have to create a bingo cards with a common business buzzwords. Distribute the cards to the students and explain that they need to listen attentively during the class or the presentation. Whenever they hear the buzzword, they need to mark it on their business bingo cards. And the first students to complete a line or a full card, he or she has to shout a bingo. This type of an activity will encourage the active listening or helps familiarize students with the business terminology. Next thing to talk about is a 2 minute experts. So, in a 2 minutes expert, what you can do is you can give 2 minutes to the students and you can ask the students to talk about their achievements, and 2 minutes you have to give them to do some research on the topic which you have given. Say for example, what is your achievement or what problems you have faced any topic you can give. You can ask the students, or you can give the students 2 minutes. 2 minutes they will do the research. Once the 2 minutes is completed, they will come up with some presentation, and they will speak in front of the class. As they will speak in front of the class, they will able to improve their presentation skills. They know that in a very few minutes, how they can able to think very quickly, how they can do effective communication and the knowledge sharing also. The last thing is to talk about is personal storytelling. So in a personal storytelling, what we have to do, you have to provide a topic, uh, or related to the personal or professional life, and they have to tell a story. So these are just an example of an ice breaking activities which can able to develop or generate a positive environment in the class, and it will engage the students in the class, and it will helps to foster the connections amongst the student. But the thing is, the faculty should choose the activities that align with the dynamics, that align with the preference of your management students. So this is about the ice breaking activity. Next thing I'm going to talk about is the case study method. My dear friends, we being a professor, we put so much of efforts to bring a new case in the class. I give my example. I go to IIM, I go to AMA, I go to other library, Gujarat University type library, try to find out a good case. I tell my friends that if you are having a good case, kindly share with me. And I read the case, I prepare my own notes, I study the teaching notes, I try to relate the case with the topic to be taught in the class. With so much efforts, I go in the class. And same case, I used to give it to the students, and I asked the students to read this case and then come in the class. My dear friends, as we know that the good case, if we talk about the quality case, is having 15 to 20 pages. And this generation Z, they don't read this case, and they don't come in the class. So when we go in the class very next day and say that, have you read the case? No, madam. And from that moment only, I'll develop a frustration. You might be also facing this kind of a challenges. So, my dear friends, as we know that students are not reading the case in the class, not coming, they don't come reading the case in the class. So, what we have to do is, my dear friends, there are various tools available, AI tools available like ChatGPT or any other tools. By making use of this tool, you can reduce the case to 5 to 6 pages, and then you can give it to the students. Or else, having long years of experience, you can prepare your own case templates, and then you can give it to the students to read in the class. And this case which you have prepared, it should be followed up with the various questions also, so that the discussion can take place in the class. Another thing, what we can do is, as we are sending our students in a service project, service learning projects, or if we give some assignments to the students that go in the organization, do the study, do this, right? So we can ask the students to write small cases, so that will be useful to you to discuss it in the class. When the discussion takes place in the class, students will also enjoy. So it's not like that one way knowledge is transferred from teacher to the students. They will They will also be attentive. The listening skills also will also be developed. The analytical skills will also develop. They will learn the decision making skills. They will learn problem solving skills. They will learn how to do the communication. Presentation skills will also be improved, and teamwork and collaboration will also be there. Time management will also be there, and this skill is needed for the future managers, future business leaders, as well as the manager, if I say. So case study is one thing to talk about. I'll be talking about movies. Yes, I love seeing the movies. I used to give the assignments on the basis of the movies to the students. I don't ask students to write and come up with the assignments, because I feel that movies is one of the effective teaching method to teach various management concepts. And my dear friends, we are lucky enough that there are n number of movies which are available, uh, from where we can have some uh, concept of the management. But it is important for the teacher to select the film that align with the learning objective of the management concept. And when you give the assignments to the students to watch some movie, the pre discussion and the post discussion of the movie should be there. If pre and post discussion of the movie will be there, then student will also enjoy it. There are few movies I just noted here. Rocket Science, students can learn sales management, entrepreneurship skills can be developed. Chak De India, we can able to see teamwork, leadership, and strategy. Lagan, teamwork is there, leadership is there, and strategy. If we talk about a corporate, strategies are there. And Swades, a social entrepreneurship. These are the few suggested movie. I have elaborated very broadly if I say the social entrepreneurship or strategies. But whenever you are uh, giving the movies in form of an assignments, or if you are coming up with some clip in the class in order to relate that clip with your topic, the discussion should be there in detail. I'll be showing you few movies here. No, I'll not show whole movie. I'll be talking about the few clips from the movie that can be helpful to you. You will understand there are various uh, video cutters available. So with the help of that, you can able to cut the movie, and you can able to present in front of the students. This clip I had taken from the flame. So this type of a clips we can cut and we can showcase in front of the students. We can ask the students to tell us what they have learned from this particular clip. If I talk about this clip, whether the Amitabh Bachchan, the Gurubai is overconfident, whether he is doing business ethically, or he is having a competitive pressure. So n number of questions can be raised in front of the students, and we can ask the students to discuss in the class, and we can able to correlate the small clips uh, to the students. So, and my dear friends, there are various small clips which are available on various platforms, right? You can directly download that small movie clips. In YouTube also various clips are available. And if you are watching some movie, then while watching, as we are sparing 3 hours for our entertainment, while watching some movie, you have to write it. If you are having a time, that this particular scene that can be we can able to relate with this management concept. And that particular time, once we finish the movie, we can able to cut it, or we can able to browse it from the internet. So while adopting this movie pedagogy, I say, I'll say that I used to give students to watch the movies and come up with their summarize uh, thing in the class, and I ask the students to present in the class, so student enjoy it. So we should I'll be talking about another clip also, so that can be done. I was talking about movies, and I had shared a clip with you, and we have talked about the guru, and we can able to come up with this type of a movie clip, and we can show it to the students, and we can discuss it with the students. So there are n numbers of movies which are available, and this activity we can do in the class. So I'm going to talk about the next pedagogy, that is a storytelling. And here I'm going to talk about the storytelling, and I'll be talking about five storytelling strategies. And these five storytelling strategies that will help you to stand out as an educator. So first strategy to talk about is presenter opens the PowerPoint and storyteller craft the narratives. My dear friends, if you want to engage your audience, you have to tell a stories. Most often what happens is educator prepares the presentation for the upcoming class but forget about telling the stories in the class. And storytelling is not there in the top of the mind. So most presenter, they do what they sounds logical. They begin their sessions by a slideshow, but most presentations programs are not storytelling. My dear friends, when I talk about the storytelling, story is nothing but it is a series of events. And this series of events we can able to tell with the words, with the image, and with the pictures. So a story has a theme, attention grabbing movements. Story has a protagonistic and conflicts, and a satisfying conclusions. Though we design our slides very nicely, but it cannot compensate for a poorly structured stories. The narrative, mind well, the narrative must come first. So before designing the PowerPoint, an educator should think over it whether they can incorporate a small story relating it with the particular topic or the subject. Narrator, sorry, faculty, they can tell their own personal story, or some historical current event that is relevant to your topic. Next thing to talk about is presenter use the text and storytellers loves the picture. My dear friends, once you have finalized that you are going to talk about these stories, you have to start gathering the assets for your stories. That can be in the form of graph or a graphics or a videos or a audio. Researcher has said that audience recall 10% of the content if they simply hear the information. Another research says that if they hear the information and if they see the picture, audience can recall 65% of the information. So, my dear friends, if you want to engage your class, you can come up with the image, you can come up with the pictures, and the combination of both will help you to engage the class. The third thing to talk about is presenter dump data, storytellers humanize it. My dear friends, we know that data is abstract until it is put into the context that people understand it and people can understand people. I'll tell you or I'll share you one small story. Once I met with a group of an executive at a large medical equipment company, and this company were preparing to launch a machine, a new brain scanning machine at the prestigious conference. And they sent me 100 of pages of the clinical data to prove that the technology could identify a patient condition faster and more accurately than any existing device. So I said that, where are the people? I said, where are the people? While the data provided the evidence of efficiency of the technology, I did not tell, sorry, it did not tell me a story. Only human could do that. And after a few hours of brainstorming with the executive team, we decided to put faces to the data. We built a presentation around two typical patients, that is Ram and Sham, who would benefit from this technology, and they should enter the hospital with the symptoms of possible stroke and possible stroke or the heart attack. And in the next year conference, same conference, the executives who have delivered the presentation was walking down a corridor when a physician stopped him and said, "You are the Ram and Sham. It's a great presentation." My dear friend, here the attendee was a physician. He did not remember the data, but the story left an impression. Next thing to talk about, presenters are predictable and storytellers, they surprise their audience. Most of the presentations are boring because it's a predictable. We know that after this slide will come, after this bullet point, this bullet point will be there, and that will be followed by another. A good story show something which is surprising for the audience. So a storyteller will talk about some surprise, some suspense. So we'll keep on hearing the stories, whereas presenters are predictable. When we hear the stories, we'll say what will be the next, क्या होगा इसके बाद, कैसे होगा, कौन करेगा, right? So we are very much curious when we hear the story. And the last thing to talk about is presenter practice silently, storyteller rehearse out loudly. So, most business presentations are forgettable because the speaker forget that they are performing and not presenting. A great presentation informs, inspires, and engage and entertain. In other words, it's a part of performance. As such, it should be rehearsed like one. When I talk about the storytellers, these storytellers they do the rehearsal and they do it very loudly. They practice their vocal delivery, adding perfectly. There is a time pause and varying the pace of their speech. If they plan to stand in front of the class, they will stand during the rehearsal. While it is not realistic to do the rehearsal or practice every class or every minute of an hour in the class, but at least we should do the rehearsal of opening the story in the class. We should do rehearsal when we conclude, and the stories you plan to share, as we know that students won't recall every piece of the information they have heard in the class, but they are likely to remember the moments that you have selected or that you have chose to spotlight. So rehearsal is very much important, my dear friends. If you practice this 5 strategies, you can able to stand out as a great educator, because you know that how you have to open your presentation. Stories are important while delivering the sessions. So you if you practice this, you will be a great educator. Next pedagogy which I want to talk in my class is about massive open online courses, and the abbreviation is MOOC. My dear friends, I give this links to my students, and this massive open online courses, there are free online courses which are available on various platforms. So what I used to do is I give the link to the students. I ask them to study few topics from that particular course and then come in the class. So once they come in the class, we discuss about this uh, topics. So I like to present here few slides, few links, few platforms. Coursera is one of them, and you can join for free. There are various courses available in this Coursera platform, and you can give it to the students. Another is Allison, here also free online courses with certificates and diploma. Students can do this. Swayam portal is there, Government of India. This portal is there, Swayam portal is there. Various courses are available on this platform. You can ask the students to study few topics or the courses from this platform also, and then you can able to do the online discussion when all the students have learned the topic. Another thing, another Udemy, this is also there, and very cheap, 500 600 rupees you have to pay for a program. Sometimes it's a free also. So these are the various platforms which you can share it with the students, and you can adopt a new strategies that let students come in the class by having read the notes or having heard the videos. So, and then if you come up with the discussion, they will enjoy it. This can be done. So, this is about the MOOC, massive open online courses that you can give it to the students. Another thing to talk about is newspaper cutting. My dear friends, every day we read the newspapers, right? We may you read Economic Times or Times of India or Hindu, any newspaper, or some uh, export import exim newspapers are coming, right? Or any magazines we used to read. So what we have to do is we have to cut the relevant topic to teach in the class and scan it and give it to the students. Ask the student to read it, and then we can able to discuss it into the class. We can able uh, uh, to provide them the current knowledge of what's happening in today's world, that can also, or that we can also share. My dear friends, I cut the newspapers. Which game are you playing today? And this is about the gamification. Previously, we, if you remember, we used to play snakes and ladder. We used to play Monopoly. How this game is related with our learning, this article talks about that. More bang for CSR bucks. So this is also there to make corporate social spending more impactful, change the law, rules and process. So this type of a cuttings I used to do, I distribute in the class, and then we do the discussion in the class. So this is also one of the pedagogy, my dear friends, which you can also able to use. Industrial visit. What I used to do is I used to form group of a 10 people, and I talk with the industry people that my students will come on Saturday, or at as per your convenience. Will you please show them the organization? Will you please brief them about your operations or anything? So group of 10 students will go in an industry. They will learn about some specific thing, and they will prepare the presentation. They will present in the class. So again, group of 10 will present in the class, and rest other will have the knowledge of that particular company. So and when we send our students in an organization, they will develop the confidence. They will know how to talk with the seniors, how to talk with the corporate people, and they will gain an hands-on experience over there. So they can able to relate the theoretical knowledge and with the practical one. So industrial visit or field visit is also important. As being a professor, if we give a call to any organization, they will accept our request and they will entertain the students. But my dear friends, you have to take pain for your students. You have to spare few hours for that, and you will also learn from the students experience. So this is one great pedagogy which I find that it is also very much useful, and students enjoy doing this. Another type of a pedagogy which I use in my class is showing them various videos. My dear friends, we are very well aware that uh, uh, we are very well aware that various videos are available on YouTube. Various videos that are related with the management concepts are available on the YouTube. Say for example, HDFC merger case study, right? This is a case. This is given by CA Rahul Malodia. You can ask the students to
किसने
see
दिया?
this case.
HDFC। पर HDFC लिमिटेड ने या HDFC बैंक ने? अरे क्या ये अलग अलग चीज है? हाँ जी, HDFC लिमिटेड, HDFC बैंक दो अलग अलग एंटिटी है, इनमें वही।
You can ask the students to see this case and come up in the class. So that can also be done. Another thing which we can do is, I'll show you one video which I share it in my class. I want to teach them a team. So from this video we can able to learn the teamwork. They can come to know what mistakes they are doing. So this type of a videos will develop an image in their mind. They can able to recall it very easily. So this type of a videos can also be shared with the students. So there are other pedagogy also other than this. We can ask the students to prepare the presentation, come up with in the class, because as I had mentioned previously that this generation Z, they are there on the screen most of the time. So if you give them a topic and and if you ask them to prepare the presentation, they will prepare it very nicely. The only thing is you have to guide them properly. What is your requirement, what do you want? And if they come up in the class, if they present in the class, then with this type of a pedagogy, they will they will learn the research skill, they will learn the presentation skills, their communication will also improve. It will help the students to develop their body language, and overall grooming can take place if you give this type of a pedagogy. I hope that you might have got various ideas to include in your presentation. Thank you very much for listening me throughout my sessions.